Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use the promo code CHGO. When you sign up, the Hawks start their road trip with a 2-1 overtime loss against the LA Kings. And for a low-scoring game, we have a ton to talk about. Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate you being here with us late night. Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. We're going to get to everything here. We're going to recap the scoring, give our DraftKings King of the Game, pick of the weekday as well. So we've got that coming, and we're going to update you on the tank standings as well. So a ton to get to here, fellas.
Can you guess who the King of the Game will be?
Oh, you'll never know. And that's probably where we should start. Petr Mrazek was just outstanding in his return. Looks 100%, looks ready to go. And we were talking earlier this week, saying maybe you give Soderblom the first start of the trip just to give Mrazek some extra time. And he was good against the Kings in the last game, yada, yada. But, man, Mrazek was absolutely fantastic in this game. One of the two Hawks in this game that I was pleased with their performance. There were two, and we're going to get to it. But Mrazek, absolutely the star of this game and the only reason the Hawks pick up a point in this one.
Yeah, hopefully that groin or groins were able to hold up after a couple of the saves he had to make tonight to keep the Blackhawks in this one. But yeah, incredible return to the lineup. It was good news to see that the potential injury to Arvid Soderblom was going to be minor, if anything, or just a one-night issue. And Mrazek getting taken off of IR and activated and everything was great news. So it looks like, the Blackhawks in net, I know we're focused on tanking, but at least having some healthy, competent NHL goaltenders is a good thing. And Mrazek stormed back into the lineup with his performance tonight. Look, I know tanking is the goal. Overtime losses, shootout losses are still 1 point in the standings. But you gotta have efforts like this for this kind of team. And you have a competitive game. You have a battle against the LA Kings, who are supposed to contend for a playoff spot and look like they're going to do that this season. You got to have these games to build that confidence, because the proverbial crash to earth probably is going to come for the Blackhawks eventually, where the losses will start to outnumber the wins and the good performances. So you got to have these kinds of performances where you can say, hey, there are things to like, and there are things to like in a tight game like this.
Yeah, this one had a lot of the same feel as the game just played last week at the United Center between these two teams.
Yeah.
Where the Blackhawks were outplayed by stretches, but their goalie kept them into the game. Last time it was Arvid Soderblom. Tonight it's Petr Mrazek. Just a great performance by Mrazek tonight. Good to see for him. That's a guy that's been battling a lot of injuries, and to have a groin injury that he's been dealing with in the past, he's had to be feeling like, oh man, here we go again. But comes back, bounced first game in almost 3 weeks, and was just absolutely fabulous. Was saved by a couple of posts tonight, and he'll gladly take those. Those don't even count as shots on goal, so take that, LA. Yeah, I mean, yes, I know the tank, but you got a point. You probably didn't deserve one. But you know what? It's not the end of the world, because we'll get onto the tank standings later. Everybody that the Hawks are trying to catch up with or catch past them, a lot of teams below them in the standings won tonight, so not the end of the world.
No, and I'm not I know what the point of this season is, and I know what the Hawks are supposed to do. But I found myself in this game pissed, because it's one thing to lose. It's one thing to try real hard and come up short. It's one thing to be completely overmatched talent-wise. What the Blackhawks not wearing number 34 and not wearing number 19 put out on the ice tonight was inexcusable. It was horseshit. It was terrible for 60 minutes plus. They lost every battle. They got pinned in their end for 4 minutes plus to end the second period. The only thing that bailed them out was the freaking scoreboard ticking down to 0. It was a matter of time before Caleb Jones and Alec Regula had to scrape themselves off the ice. Both guys early in that shift had easy opportunities to clear, tried to go up the ice instead of along the boards, and that's what happens. You get pinned deep. I don't think Luke Richardson's going to be pleased with this effort at all. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say post-game. Again, yes, they're trying to lose. Yes, we want them to have the best chance at landing Connor Bedard. All those things are great, but this effort sucked, and it pissed me off watching most of the game because you had guys, making a pass to a teammate who was uncovered, a drop back pass into the defensive zone with no pressure. It's a hand grenade at their feet, and there's guys causing turnovers, and it's just those are the things that are about focus and are about being ready to go. And the Hawks were not focused. They were not ready to go in this one. And it's not like the LA Kings are the Colorado Avalanche or the New York Rangers or one of these elite NHL teams. They're just not. They're good. I think they're better than they were last year, but there's no reason you should get circles skated around you for the vast majority of this game, right? I mean, they had 4 shots on goal, like 25 minutes into the game. That can't happen. And it can't be what we call the ghost of Jonathan Toews. Jonathan Toews, by the way, back. I'm announcing it now officially. Stamp it. He's back. That's it. He's the only guy out there giving a shit, honestly. And that can't happen. And this is what we talked about, right? As the losses start to stack up, how does Luke Richardson keep this team motivated? It shouldn't happen now. And I'm not putting this on Luke. Just to be clear, this is not Luke Richardson's fault. This is a team not ready to go. And they said during the game that the Hawks flight yesterday, the charter had to stop between Chicago and LA and Denver to refuel. What did they take, a Cessna? What is going on here? And by the way,
all the extra away from the dads.
That must be it. But they took. We were in the locker room, and what did it say, Greg? The bus left at 12:15, right? It's not like it was an overnight red eye. Right. They got in LA.
That's not an excuse.
No, there's no excuse for the performance in this one. There's just not. And again, good. They only got 1 point. Whatever. I'm glad Mrazek played well. I'm glad Jonathan Toews has a fire lit under his ass and wants to prove everybody wrong this year. It's great. It's wonderful. He right now is the best Blackhawk. Period. Jonathan Toews is the current best Blackhawk. I'm saying it. That's it. It is what it is, right? Because the effort's there, the faceoffs are there, the goal scoring is there, the compete level is there, and you can't say that about anyone else on this team, especially after this game. I'm sorry. I didn't think I was going to have a game like this year, but I'm pissed off about it. It sucked. They played like ass and don't deserve a point.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely were passengers tonight, and that's not something that Luke Richardson will appreciate. I think there were. I agree. I mean, I don't think the entire team was acceptable tonight. There were very few outside of Toews, Mrazek that even had even just some moments where you could take some positives from. But I think, it's. I don't want to say it's a good thing that you can be still in a game when you don't have a full team effort, because you still need the full team effort, to have something to positive take away. But yeah, I mean, as far as Toews, I mean, we're 13 games now into the season. He's on I think the best scoring pace to start a season of his career. He took everyone's lunch money at the faceoff dot tonight. So, hey, I mean, that's fantastic. This is not the Jonathan Toews I expected to see at this point of the season, given the way last season went and the way this offseason was trending and the way the preseason went too. Like, there was nothing in the preseason that said, oh, Jonathan Toews is ready to go, ready to have, 10, 11 points, whatever it is in the first
Quite
13
the
games.
opposite, actually.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, it did not look like he was going to have anything close to this kind of start. So, yeah, I mean, that's great. That's great to see. Some people saying in the chat, like, oh, do you keep him now? It's up to him. It's up to him. If he's playing well and he's enjoying his time here, maybe his decision has changed, or leans one way or the other. Maybe he says, hey, I got it in me and I really want to get my name on the cup a fourth time. It's up to him.
Yeah. Pierre LeBrun wrote about it for The Athletic this week, kind of handicapping the center market. And he was talking about Ryan O'Reilly and who's the other one? It's late. Forgetting who the other center was, but Vancouver. Why am I blanking on the name?
Not JT Miller.
No. Something with a B. Anyway,
Bo Horvat.
Yes, Bo Horvat. That's where the B came from. Thank you. And just saying that, like,
half his name in one letter.
Of those three, that Toews would probably get the least return. But
not right now.
Yeah, I mean,
a few more games like this, and it's going to go up.
I'm just going to say though, like, and I think you guys agree, like, this game or Jonathan Toews' hot start does not change the way I feel the season should go. They should get as many assets as they can at the deadline for expiring contracts. That includes Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I look at it. The better Toews plays, the more you can get for him. So that's how I see it. It's a win-win for everybody. But again, same with him and Kane. Doesn't matter until they say trade me. These national games, it's November 10th. Well, now the 11th. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. But I am sick to freaking death with the national narrative about the Kane and Toews futures. Nothing has changed until they say, can we stop on all these national find something else to talk about. I know this team isn't great and there's not a lot of storylines. Talk about Luke Richardson. Talk about anything else. It's this. I mean, I can't even imagine how tired, like, I'm sure Patrick Kane was absolutely thrilled to get off the ice at morning skate today and talk to Linda Cohn about getting freaking traded. Like, he's got to be so tired of it. Jonathan Toews, before the season even started, was like, listen, I know you guys got to do your jobs, but, it is what it is. So can we find something else to talk about when this team is on a national broadcast? And they're going to be on a national broadcast. They're going to be on TNT Wednesday night against the Blues. So,
yeah, you're going to hear it again. Their justification is that people watching this game are not keeping up on every team in the league, and that's the big story for the team this year. But I think if you're watching the Kings and the Hawks late night on a Thursday on ESPN Plus, you know that. Right? Yeah, exactly. From what you could hear of the broadcast anyway. Boy, the mix was horrible.
It was
like that all last year too. They still haven't figured it out.
It was bad.
The broadcast itself, the play-by-play and all that was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Mike Monaco does a really good job. I like him as a play-by-play guy.
Yeah, and Cassie Campbell was good too, but her mic was really low.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. Listen, I barely listen to broadcasts when I'm watching games at home. It's kind of like white noise to me half the time. Unless something, like, the only time it really jumps out is if, like, a crazy stat comes through or somebody says something really stupid, I'll just look up and say, what? But most of the time I'm not really paying attention to what's being said because I'm so used to watching games with no broadcast that I kind of focus it out. But ESPN's got issues.
There was an interesting note though from Linda Cohn in that conversation with Kane where he said, not a direct quote, but something along the lines of, like, when he's got those quiet moments at home, he'll sort of like catch his mind wandering, thinking about his future, which is totally understandable, right?
Yeah, like, I do that in the bathroom every time.
We all do it, yeah.
Exactly.
While taking a shower.
But it is the first time that Kane acknowledged that, it is on my mind a little bit. He had always sort of been like, it's nothing I really thought about or even talked to my family or agent about. That's not true. I mean, like, these guys, they're giving it a lot more thought than they're letting on, and I don't want to say it's nice to hear Patrick Kane acknowledge that part of it, but the fact that he is just shows that he's human and he's thinking about it like we all are. So I don't know. That was it's not a big deal, but it's the first time that he is actually acknowledged. Yeah, I think about this sometimes.
It was refreshing to hear at least just something other than, no, I don't think about it. Like, okay, sure. When you're asked about it every other day, there's no way you don't think about what you would actually want to say. Like, I don't believe, like, as non-expressive as Patrick Kane is on a regular basis, the times where he does express, you can tell, like, oh, he's, there's much more than, just the on ice hockey brain going on there. So yeah, it was refreshing to hear that, hey, like, yeah, I do think about potentially what my future might be. He didn't say, I think Toews had some sort of comment over the off season where it was like, yeah, I think about what my career might look like with a different team. Like, he didn't say that, but he went a half step before saying that and just saying, I wonder what my future will be like, whether it's in Chicago or not. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get that kind of quote out of him until a trade does or does not happen.
Yeah, and the Kane, who would have thought this point of the season that we were all like, oh, Kane's trade value is going to be, it's still going to be very high, but, the performance really hasn't been there a whole lot this year. I mean, I know, and we saw Luke Richardson hinted after practice on Wednesday that he might give Philip Kurashev a shot on that line, and third period, he was there, and Athanasiou was down on the Toews line, played effectively there, so I think we might see that stay for Anaheim.
Yeah, you got to mix something up. Like
it's not working.
That top line is not working. Yeah, it's not working as it was.
Looked like
you had a couple nice plays in this one. He drove the net a few times, and you mentioned Kurashev. I feel bad for him, man. The game winner, he's balling out to block a shot. He blocks it and just bounces out of the way. Then Jake McCabe tries to Superman himself in the way of the puck and just can't do it. So look, man, like McCabe is always out there giving what he's got. You know what I mean? Like, the team effort sucked, but I felt bad for Kurashev, who was doing everything he could to prevent that goal from happening, and he did the right thing, and then it just didn't work out.
He had at least two really good looks that were just off, and I think it was in the third period. He had a rush with, I think it was Toews and Domi, like a 3-on-2, and fanned on a pass that probably was going to lead to a really good scoring chance, but just fanned on it. And I was, like, he was just off tonight, just off by a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was, decent enough effort to put yourself in that kind of position.
Yeah, that line looked like it was just about ready to click. Athanasiou, Domi, and Kane, and just the last. I mean, the Blackhawks have one 5-on-5 goal the last 4 games. It's not. That's why it's like, if people were worried about the tank standings, the 5-on-5 play is not there. They got bailed out with a power play goal tonight.
Nice one, by the way.
Yeah, very nice.
I like the look of that new power play.
The little passing was good, but we have a comment in the chat that Domi had 0 shots on goal. No, he had 3 shots.
He had 3, and 3 more attempts.
I think they might have all been on the power play. He may not have had any 5-on-5 shots, but he had 3 shots on goal. He had that one-timer on the power play that I thought was going in, but yeah, you got to play better 5-on-5, and they haven't played very well 5-on-5 at all this season. And I don't even remember the last goal. It was in the Kings game. The last time we played the Kings, or no, wasn't even that one. Who knows? 4 games. I know that Minnesota. The Minnesota game was the last time, because the Kings, their regulation goal was a power play, obviously overtime 3-on-3. Their one goal against the Islanders was power play. Shutout in Winnipeg. Their one goal tonight was power play. So you got to start playing 5-on-5, and they're not doing it. So that's why, when we get to those tank standings, I wouldn't be sweating it out, because you keep playing 5-on-5 like you have been the last few games. You're going to lose a lot more games than you're going to win. You got to start producing there.
Yeah. The only bad 5-on-5 teams that get bailed out in the NHL are the ones that are just lighting it up on the power play, and the Blackhawks just don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's recap the scoring and the plays that mattered in this one. Not a ton going on, obviously. Hawks took the 1-0 lead, 18:51 into the first period. Taylor Raddysh scores a beauty on a tic-tac-toe goal where Domi gets it to Toews, gets it to Raddysh, and Raddysh scores his 4th of the year. That's Toews' 3rd assist and Domi's 4th of the season. Less than a minute later, Reese Johnson takes a bad roughing penalty. They kill off the first 22 seconds of it, then start the second with 139 of the Kings in the power play. As soon as that penalty ends, there he is, Philip Deneau scores, ties the game. One timer over the shoulder. Mrazek didn't love that goal against. It felt a little bit soft, but I feel like I might have hit something on the way in because Mrazek kind of did that like ducking. And it wasn't it wasn't going to take his head off by any means. I think he was reacting to something that didn't happen. So it might have gotten deflected, but that's Deneau's 5th of the year. Arvidsson and Moore pick up the assist there. So it's 1-1 at that point. Then we get into the third. Got to get to overtime, of course. And this is where, by the way, I should mention, after the second TV timeout, I don't know what happened, but the Hawks were much, much better. They went on a 6-1 shot run. At that point, 2 good shifts by the Jason Dickinson line. Toews almost had a goal. Patrick Kane almost had a goal late in the third. They were a little bit revitalized after whatever happened after that second TV timeout. Maybe Luke just gave him the look, and that was enough.
The stern fatherly look.
Yeah, but Mrazek, great to start overtime. Then Jonathan Quick, great in the middle half of overtime. Then with literally 2 seconds left in overtime, Kevin Fiala, who seemed to be on the ice the entire game. I felt like they were saying Fiala's name. Was oh my God.
Super noticeable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He scores his 4th unassisted at 4:58 of the 5-minute overtime. So the Hawks lose 2-1. So with that, Steven, why don't we give an update to the old tank standings? Bad today. The teams you want to win, the Blues, the Coyotes, the Blue Jackets, they all picked up wins today. Columbus, though, Zach Werenski is going to be hurt for a while. The post-game update for him was, quote, not good. So they might be looking at a long time without their top defenseman.
And he had Zach 2 goals in that game, too.
Yeah, so good win.
That hurts the fantasy team.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So Columbus, though, despite the win today, still leads the tank standings with 8 points in 13 games. They're 4-9-0. St. Louis right on their heels, 8 points in 12 games. They're 4-8-0. The Sharks are 3-9-3 in 15 games. That's 9 points. Anaheim, who the Hawks play on Saturday, are 4-9-1. They've got 9 points in 14 games. And the Ottawa Senators, who are really on a roll of sucking, 4-8-1, 9 points in 13 games. The Hawks coming in with the overtime loss today, 11th overall in the tank standings, 13 points in 13 games. It's a 5-5-3 record, maintaining their 82-point pace. I love when the math is easy.
The Coyotes, by the way, the second wild card in the Western Conference right now.
There you go. Just how we all predicted.
As we all expected.
And by the way, some decent news on their on the stadium front for them. It looks like it's going to go to a vote to kind of approve a whole like Coyotes Arena district.
Yeah, referendum. So it's going to be up to the citizens of Tempe to decide. So
always love when Arizona's deciding a vote.
Yeah, nothing fishy will happen there.
From what I've aggregated from comments on Twitter, which is always a great thing to do.
Were they verified accounts?
They were. I mean, they were.
Everybody's
around.
verified now.
They were on Twitter, so maybe I don't know. I don't know if the confidence is there that vote gets passed.
I think they kind of wanted this. They would have preferred the city council just to say, "Yeah, let's do it." But the city council's passing the buck, saying, we're gonna let the actual taxpayers vote on it." So, could you imagine if they play in this rinky little, beautiful but very small college arena, and then they say, "Yeah, no, we're not going to build you a new arena." Then what? The hell do you do? You gotta
Well,
town.
they said 3 years to play at Arizona State, and they thought that would cover the Tempe Arena being
considering the referendum is not till May.
Right. They thought that would cover the thing being approved and then built. There's an option for a 4th year, but I mean, if that doesn't get approved, then you're back at square one. And does one extra season give you that amount of time? I don't know.
Time to call the Houston owners the Houston Rockets owner and see if he knows how to make ice.
Hello, Houston owners Rocket.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure he owns one of those. He's got enough money.
That's a different phone call.
It's 1:00 in the morning. Stop busting my balls.
We're looking tired. Might be time to put the Shady Rays on.
I feel like Caleb Jones after a 4-minute shift.
Oh, we got to get to that. By the way, did you see the Kyle Kuzma, the NBA player, wearing the sunglasses during his late night press conference today?
Were those Shady Rays?
I don't think
know,
Shady
but
Rays
if they were
that douchey. Do they have like a douche category on the Shady Rays website?
I don't know, but if they do, I'm gonna explore that just for fun.
You're gonna be able to save some money on those douchey sunglasses. Hey, one person's douchey sunglasses is fashion plate glasses for somebody else.
Hey,
that's true.
You can pull them off.
Old man yells at cloud hour. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Shady Rays, they don't like expensive sunglasses, and neither do we. So they changed the market, and you do not have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. Best part about Shady Rays is they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Did you drop them in the lake? Did you lose them while voting for a stadium referendum in Arizona? Doesn't matter how you lose them, they'll replace them for free. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I could tell you for being a customer of theirs for the last couple of years. They are just as good, if not better, than any of those expensive name brands on the market. And Shady Rays customers will agree. They've given over 200,000 5-star reviews. It's a lot of stars. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 20 million meals to date. Nothing douchey about that. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anyone has a problem, they will throw profit right out the window and do what it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. And exclusive for our listeners, Shady Rays is running the deepest deal of the season. Use the promo code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54 over at shadyrays.com.
And while you're looking good with your Shady Rays, you can feel good internally with some AG1 from Athletic Greens, the formula designed to improve your gut health, optimize your immune system, and give you more natural energy. Optimizing your immune system sounds great at a time like this when the Chicago weather is going to go from 75 today to 35 tomorrow. In just one scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens that help you start or end your day right. If you eat different dietary ways, whether it's gluten-free, dairy-free, keto, paleo, vegan.
What if it's the all-wing diet?
You could do that too. You know, if you're on the all-wing diet, you may benefit even more from some AG1
thank you.
to improve that gut health.
Only one way to find out.
That's true. Whatever way you decide to eat, with AG1, you're good to go. You're able to incorporate into those diets and into your life, no matter how busy you might be. It's a small once-a-day habit with big benefits. And it's time right now to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. All it takes is one scoop in a cup of water every day. There's no need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Blackhawks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
You know who had a tough night, fellas?
A lot of the Blackhawks.
Caleb Jones, who we have been, I don't want to say praising him, but recognizing that he's, since being healthy scratched, his bounce back had been pretty good. 6 points in 7 games leading into tonight's action. This was awful. Like, he was absolutely terrible. And it wasn't just that one shift. It was the entire game with, again, the hand grenade passes. Bless you, Mario. I saw you sneeze on camera.
Oh, yes.
Just turning the puck over. He was a disaster. And if Luke is worried about guys sitting on the bench too long, you saw him get Colin Blackwell back in there tonight. Maybe it's time for Philip Roos to jump in and Caleb Jones to grab a seat in Anaheim, because that was about as bad as it gets. I mean, I can't. Yeah, we grade on a curve with him. He's the last defenseman on a tanking team, but I think this is bad by anyone's standards.
I hate to pull the plug on him after just one game to bench him, but I think when you're in that position, look, Caleb wouldn't be getting top power play minutes, top minutes, whatever, all these responsibilities if his older brother was healthy and in the lineup. So he's all the Blackhawks essentially are being put into a position above what they are, and because Seth Jones is out, so Caleb is getting more opportunities to succeed or also to be exposed. And I think tonight was a negative exposure night for Caleb Jones. And do you put Philip Roos in? Sure. I mean, at what are you really hurting at that point? And I think you know, for Jones, someone who could push him in his, competition for more playing time, for more regularity in the lineup, is Alec Regula, and I think Regula was very active tonight, and I think he made it a point to be involved in the game offensively. He was very noticeable offensively. So if there's someone who's going to push Caleb Jones in the long run this season, I think Regula made a good statement tonight. And if you want to put Roos in, we haven't seen anything from him that says, "Oh, he's terrible. He can't get into the lineup." No, why not?
Here's another reason, and I think Reese Johnson probably will be watching the Anaheim game from the press box too. Get Jujhar Khaira back in there. That penalty he took at the end of the first period was just monumentally stupid. You just went up 1-0, and you take a selfish roughing penalty because you need to punch a guy in the face a minute after the whistle blows right in front of the referee. Just dumb. The Hawks killed off that penalty, but they did technically. They scored. Well, there's the justice in that, because they scored like a second after the power play expired. So Reese Johnson was on the ice and credited with a -1 because he was just getting out of the penalty box. That goal was scored. So yeah. So, not his best moment. So I think we'll see Roos and Jujhar Khaira back in, because both of those guys should probably sit, but it's also the dad's trip. Get every player in there so they can play in front of their dad.
That's true. If
I don't know for sure if Philip Roos's dad is here, I would assume he is. If he came all the way from Sweden to watch his kid sit next to him in the press box for 2 games, I'd be a little pissed off. So just for the hell of it. But now you have the justifiable reason to put both of those guys back in without just saying it's just for the dads.
Well, you gotta bench Reese Johnson too, because his dad walked across the logo.
Yes, he did.
I think I saw him wipe his boots on it too at some point.
Man. It wasn't just a whoops, I stepped on the edge of the feather. It was all the way across.
Yeah.
And
disrespectful.
I mean, what kind of idiot walks on a carpet?
Strip him of the future captaincy.
Well, see, and I joked walking out of the locker room. I said, man, if Reese Johnson gets traded in the next 12 hours, we're gonna know why.
Yeah.
Don't walk on the logo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Kara back in.
Yeah,
I mean, see, it's interesting with that fourth line rotation because it's like most of those guys aren't doing anything to like explicitly be like get him out of the lineup,
right.
and none of them are like that great that you're like, why isn't he in the line? It's just like,
Because they're all the
it
same
doesn't
guy.
matter. It's interchangeable.
it's just like
yeah.
I guess like Colin Blackwell, I didn't think was playing poor enough to come out of the lineup, and then when he comes in, I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing fine. Like, I don't know, why was he sitting?
Yeah, I would definitely leave Blackwell in there against Anaheim because out of that bunch, he's the fastest, and you need some speed against Anaheim. You can't. Yeah. The Kings are a pretty good team, but the Ducks can skate laps around the Kings if you let them. So I would leave Blackwell in there, and Kara and Johnson. Neither of those guys are known for their world-class skating ability, but let the guys play in front of their dads.
Yeah, that makes sense. Got a comment here from Darren in the chat I want to address. He says, if Toews and Kane play better, do the Hawks improve because of getting more assets and trades, or worse because they're getting more points in the standings?
Yes.
That
both
is the question.
Both things can be true.
Like, what is the better scenario, right? Like, do you want them to be good so their trade value is better, or do you want them to suck so the team's not as good? I think them playing better, the two of them, even at the peak of their powers, aren't enough to drag this team into any like total respectability. So I guess that's the better thing, is to get more assets for them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Because if you can get a first for Toews,
I mean, yeah, that's big.
Kane had his third best season last year, and the Hawks were the sixth worst team in the league. Yeah. And Toews had his career year 3 years ago, and they didn't make the playoffs. So yeah,
Toews, Kane, and DeBrincat all had their best career years that year up to that point, and they were like 6 points out of the playoff.
Yeah,
like that is when you have a team with no goaltending and no defense.
Yeah,
you're right. And the defense still isn't great. The goaltending has overachieved so much this year. Nobody expected what we've seen. Now, Mrazek wasn't great his first 3 games or whatever he started. He was fantastic tonight. Nobody expected what we've seen out of Alex Stalock before the injury. I mean, he was like very unorthodox, very
he is who he is.
Very exciting is one word to use.
That's a word.
But he was getting the job done.
Panic-inducing is another one. Yeah.
And Arvid Soderblom has been awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah, the goaltending has been overachieving, and that's another thing to look at while for those worried that this team's too good, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
An 82-point point pace is not sustainable with the way that eventually the goalies are probably going to regress closer to where they are.
That's it.
And you still can't score at 5-on-5. You're not going to be picking up these loser points on a frequent basis.
The Hawks don't have 3 Patrick Roys on the roster. And that's like Mrazek's performance tonight, Soderblom starts, and Stalock so far have all been incredible. That's not going to last. Mrazek is better than his numbers said before tonight, but he's not as good as he was tonight either, right?
Yeah,
like you mentioned, there were at least 2 or 3 posts hit in this one, and look, they don't count. But
this isn't the standard Mrazek game.
Yeah, so
hey, let him have a few good games, get that trade value up. You know, lots of injured goalies out there right now.
Yeah,
you're telling me the Maple Leafs wouldn't want him back right now?
Give us another first for Petr Mrazek.
Yeah. You think the Edmonton Oilers didn't wish they had Alex Stalock still on their system right now? A healthy Alex Stalock? Whew, they are not good at goaltending. Even the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings would probably wish they had Petr Mrazek back.
Yep.
Husey gave up 8 freaking goals tonight. Last time I checked, not good.
Our buddy No Roy's Just Rage points out that Connor Bedard had another 5-point night last night. Ho hum, 5 points. Man.
What is that? Just an average.
Of course he did.
Yeah, did he not even play the third period?
I think they benched him for the third period.
Ho hum, another 5-point night for him. We've got a lot to do yet in this show. We've got to do our 4 stars yet. We've got to do our pick of the week. We've got to do our king of the game. but there's a couple more things I wanted to get to in this one. And I think that, I don't want to just because the game overall sucked and there's a lot of stuff we're annoyed about. I really want to, and maybe this is better for a day where we've got an off day and we can really dig in, but I just don't want to ignore what Toews did today. Like, he was so freaking good. Like, you look at the line from Jonathan Toews. I'm pulling it up here. 16-20 of ice time, 6 shots on goal. He had an assist. And remember, the last game against LA was like the one game of the year he struggled at the faceoff dot. He said, F that. He went 18-3 from the faceoff dot. Philip Deneau was getting destroyed. 4 wins, 16 losses for Deneau in this game. That is all Toews.
That is
killing him.
That is
not normal.
Deneau is one of the best face-off men in the league, and it was Deneau that one game that Toews really struggled was when he had to face Deneau in Chicago. When he was taking all those draws against Deneau and Kopitar, and that's why he had a bad night. And now tonight he was like, nope. Yeah.
Deneau lost a draw to Patrick Kane in overtime.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It was not his night.
Because sports are stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noted center Patrick Kane.
But we kind of alluded to it earlier. From what we thought about Toews in the preseason to since game 1, it's a different person. It's unbelievable. Like, sure, the shooting percentage is still good, not sustainable, fine. But this, to me, was his best game of the year. He was all over the place, and he was the only one really doing much of anything. That line was the only line worth a damn in the entire game. I almost can't believe, and maybe we're foolish, right? He misses an entire year, comes back last year into a chaotic situation where everything sucks, everyone's unhappy on and off the ice, and has not a great year. Maybe I'm the moron for not realizing that that's still number 19. That's still Jonathan Toews. It's still a guy considered, one of the best leaders in the history of the game, and he hasn't just forgotten, and that just hasn't left him. So I'm happy to see that the captain is back. It's great. And whether or not he ends the season here, I don't want my last memories of Jonathan Toews to be like, oh man, those last few years were just bad. Right. He was a shadow of himself and he was unhappy and he was saying pudwacky and things and it was really unpleasant. If this is his swan song as a Blackhawk, sign me up.
Yeah. I'm very, very pleased to see what he's doing on the ice. I think it was, honestly, I think it was fair for a lot of us, a lot of people, us included, to doubt what he had left in the tank, just based off of what we saw last season. Because, this is still Jonathan Toews, and to see what he was trying to do last season and battle through after missing the year before that, and what was being put out, on the ice. It was very, a shell of Jonathan Toews. And I don't think there was really anything that we could have really hung our hat on with any, certainty to say like, oh no, he'll bounce back. Like it looked like honestly, I think there was a lot of people who were looking at, the celebration of his 1,000th game and all that as being like, all right, one last good memory for Toews before he, looks disappointing and gets traded next year. Like I think that was the case in reality for a lot of people. So it's good to feel good about him playing well. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And it's, good for him, good for his confidence, mentally and physically, good for his trade value if the Blackhawks end up getting to capitalize on that. And good for the team around him, because if we had, Toews with 1 assist in 13 games and he's, talking to the media, everyone, we're all asking him about, trade, how are you feeling and all this stuff. I'm sure Grumpy Toews would be stomping around the locker room and we might have a completely different feel to this team. So it's good that he's doing well.
Must be something about playing in that building that gets him going. He had some crazy battles in the former Staples Center. It's now the failing techbroindustry.com's arena.
I was
Whatever
thinking
it
about
is.
that during the game. Like
Like,
when crypto goes away, like how quickly can they change the name of the arena?
yeah, I think that I think the next time the Blackhawks are there, they might have a different name on it.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't know anything about crypto, but I see crypto
don't.
crash trending on Twitter a lot. So that
I don't
can't
know
be
anything
good.
about it, and I plan to keep it that way.
Who would have thought something completely made up wouldn't work? All right, let's get to the fourth stars of the game. In this one, the number 3 star was Drew Doughty, 27-25 of ice time, 2 shots and 4 more shot attempts.
What was that?
That was my automatic reaction anytime I hear Drew Doughty's name.
Blame it on the dog.
For those listening, all of our cameras are covered right now by the graphics, so I couldn't tell if that was I couldn't tell where that was coming from.
That's coming from some orifice
somewhere.
It was the pugs.
Well, it fits because it's
go.
Drew Doughty. Number 2 star Petr Mrazek, stopping 29 of 31 LA King shots. And the number 1 star, deservedly so, Jonathan Quick. Man, you talk about a guy bouncing back who everyone kind of wrote off 2 years ago. He great last year. Looks to be almost as good this year, stopping 29 of 30 Hawk shots. Some of them difficult, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So he's your number 1 star. So I'm very happy that I get to go first today because that means I get to pick Jonathan Toews. I think he absolutely deserves it. Yeah. He had, like I said before, 16-20 of ice time, 1 assist, 6 shots, and 86% of his faceoffs won. I don't know much more I have to say about that. He was really, really, really good. And just aside from the stat sheet stuff, just working his ass off, playing hard. You'd love to see it.
Yep. Great game by the captain. More of those, please. I'm going to go with, I changed my pick like 5 times during the game. I was going to go with Mrazek, and then I was like, no, he's going to be a 3rd star. I was going to do Jared Tenorti because he was hitting everything out there, but I'm going to go with Taylor Raddysh, the goal scorer, because, they only scored 1 goal and he scored it. So that's the guy. Short and sweet.
In a lineup that was unspectacular. At least the goal scorer gets on their board. I'm going to go with
beautiful play.
It was great. Great finish for him. I'm going to go with a guy I mentioned already once on the show, but I'm going to go with Alec Regula, defenseman, 17 minutes, just over 17 minutes of ice time tonight. Just
on one shift.
4 on 1 shift.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he played after that, but 1 shot on goal. 1 shot registered on goal, but he was throwing the puck at the net with pretty much any opportunity he could, which, hey, I don't have a problem with that. Like, as simple as the game can be sometimes, of just throw the puck on the net with traffic. It's going to bounce potentially off a teammate, off a stick, off an opponent. Like, there's no bad play. There's no bad play trying to put the puck towards the net. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. So a lot of shot attempts coming from Regula, offensive minded tonight, which is great. Also pretty defensive minded as well. 3 hits, 4 block shots. Like to see that from the young defenseman, making the most of his time here while Seth Jones is injured.
All right, let's also name our DraftKings King of the Game. Do we have the trumpet? You'll never guess.
There you go.
That's right. It is Petr Mrazek, 33, 29 out of 31 saves, 2 goals against, and a .939 save percentage. He was terrific in this one. Absolutely deserves the star of the game, or the king of the game. So he's got it. He is the DraftKings King of the Game. And speaking of DraftKings, my friends, it is finally time to hit the ice again. And thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want with confidence. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code CHGO at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And speaking of that, Greg is going to do the honors. It's time for the DraftKings pick of the week.
Yes, it is. I want to do some fun NHL betting since this is a hockey show, but none of the actual player proposition bets are available for tomorrow's games yet. Well, maybe they are now, but back when I was researching this yesterday, they weren't up yet. So I like to do those same. I love the same game parlays. Like tonight for the Hawks game, I had the under 6.5. That came in no problem.
Nice.
I also had I had that parlayed with Gabriel Velarde as an anytime goal scorer. He came close a couple times, but so I didn't get that. But I'm going to go with one of them fun same game parlays for this Sunday's Bears game, since we're all going to be hanging out at Roosevelt in Michigan for our Bears Chicago versus Detroit tailgate on Sunday. Go to allchgo.com, get your tickets for that. I'm going to put together the Bears scoring over 27.5 points. The offense is clicking, and the Lions give up nearly 30 points a game, the most in the entire NFL. So Bears offense rolling, Lions defense stinks, even though they held the Packers to 9 points last week. They're still not good. And I am pairing that up with Justin Fields getting over 64.5 rushing yards. The odds on that parlay is 260. So you place $10, you're going to win 36 back total. So you get a 36. So $26 win went on a $10 bet. Not too bad.
Not bad.
And I think those are very obtainable numbers for the Bears to hit.
It's free money, my friend.
If Justin Fields is running well, that should mean the offense is putting up points.
Yep.
You would think those coincide with each other. If Justin Fields has another big rushing day, chances are they've got a couple of touchdowns on the board.
That's true. You know, Justin Fields has been lighting up the Bears offense. And if you want to keep the lights on
smooth
in your home or your place of business, you got to pay your ComEd energy bills. And also part of ComEd Energy, I hope you're all paying your bills. You wouldn't be able to watch us if you weren't. Along with the ComEd Energy program, efficiency program, they are committed to helping families and businesses in the communities that they serve save money and energy. And they are offering free facility assessments that can help find energy saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes, whatever it is. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last just about 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. So don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, you can go to comed.com/poweringbiz, BIZ. Already signed up for facility assessment? You can call the number 855-433-2700 during normal business hours and speak with a ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative. You can also email them businessee@comed.com or request an assessment online by visiting their website, comed.com/facility assessment.
All right, before we wrap up the show, we've got a couple of quotes rolling in from LA. Luke Richardson speaking about Petr Mrazek. He says, quote, "We feel bad because Peter played real well coming back, and it would have been nice to get him the win because he deserved it." That's true. Max Domi says, quote, "Losing is losing, so it sucks either way." Talking about losing in overtime. And the one quote Phil Thompson has from Petr Mrazek, quote, "I needed new lungs there." Talking about the last 4 minutes of the second period. join the club on that one. That was boy, that was I don't know if I've ever seen a shift like that. And Colby Cohen tweeted at us during the game saying the only time he can remember that is when Ilya Kovalchuk pissed off the coach. And I don't know if it was Atlanta or Ottawa or whatever it was.
Was it Kovalchuk or Kovalev? Wasn't it Alexei Kovalev had a 5-minute shift? Like he just refused to come off the ice. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. I don't know.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up here because I want to make sure it's right.
To the internet. I mean,
it was Kovalchuk. Yeah, because
okay.
Kovalev was just like, screw it, I want to play. This was a punishment for Kovalchuk. The coach was so pissed at him that he just left. He would not let him come onto the bench. So, in a normal game, I've never seen, in my recollection, a 4-minute defensive shift.
That must be one of those games that Lou Lamoriello was coaching the Devils when he would take those 5-game stints in between firing coaches. That sounds like a Uncle Lou type of move.
Yeah,
sure.
Didn't Connor Murphy and McCabe last season have like a 3.5-4 minute?
Yeah, Seth Jones has been caught out there for almost 3 minutes a couple of times this season already. It's like, and I mean, if it's going to happen, it happens in the second period because of the long change. You just don't, when you putz around and you don't get the puck out of your zone, you die on the ice. How they didn't give up a goal or a penalty in that thing was pretty crazy. I just want to go back. We had a couple early in the show. I don't know if you guys are still watching. Hopefully you are, about the
Sean's issue. Watching. Thanks, Sean.
Well, yeah. He's probably betting on late night college basketball games. The Whalers jersey in the background. That is a Ron Francis, number 10 Whalers jersey. One of my all-time favorite hockey players. Despite being on that 92 Penguins team that broke my 13-year-old heart, I still loved Ron Francis.
Great player.
So, yeah,
that's Ron Francis. As CM Punk would say.
Yeah,
it's true. He would say that.
He did say that recently, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Ron Francis is employed in CM Punk, not so much.
Oh, I missed that. Is he fired?
Yeah, not officially, but he's suspended and probably will be not asked to come back.
Isn't he also injured?
Well, again, yes. That's also help. Yeah, he can't play well with others, and when he does, he gets hurt.
Mm. Well, that's what happens when you get older.
That's a shame.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, fellas, tomorrow, today, I guess, you guys are going to be arriving at my house in about 11 and a half hours.
I'm going to get in the car as soon as I post the podcast.
And we're heading to South Bend to watch Landon Slaggert and Ryder Ralston take on Adam Fantilli and the Michigan Wolverines. It's going to be a great time. Make sure you're following us on social media at CHGO_Blackhawks to keep up with our trip to Notre Dame for what's going to be a killer atmosphere and a great hockey game. I cannot wait to be there.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're going to be hanging out tomorrow, doing some extra coverage for y'all. So make sure you check it out. And if you have not done it yet, please hit that like button on YouTube and make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcast. We want to thank Steven for staying up late with us and producing the show today. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us in the chat on a work night, late night, 1:30 in the morning. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us this late. It's a big ask, and you're here, and it makes it a lot easier to do the show when we know we are not peeing into the wind, so to speak. We got people hanging out with us, so we greatly appreciate that. So with that, I think we can wrap things up, right? I think we're good. I got everything on our to-do list crossed off. So there you go. Perfect. Tomorrow we're at Notre Dame. Saturday, back at it again. Late night post-game show. But it's Saturday night. Come ready to party. I'm going to have a couple beers with me. It's going to be a different feel on Saturday night. So let's have some fun. We'll talk to you officially on Saturday night / Sunday morning on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.